Muhammad speaks into the traditions Imam Muhammad wanted us to go in. Muhammad's speech was critical in making the about face. And the plant itself, the physical plant that was on Federal Street that you could see going down the expressway in Chicago, you could see the big Muhammad Speaks sign over the expressway. That was a monumental shift for them. And it wasn't smooth. It got a little rocky after Muhammad Speaks. They actually talk about it as a small coup. And they had to really wrestle the paper from those who were in charge to take it into the direction that Imam Muhammad wanted it to go in. And one of those people who emerged out of that struggle was Anna Kareem. And they made Anna Kareem the first editor going into the transition out of the Muhammad Speaks into the M.A.L.I News and ultimately to the Muslim Journal. After Anna Kareem, there was a sister named Dorothy Galab. And we see Galib Galab on Facebook all the time. He's performed and entertained for us at the convention. This was the Chicago and worked for Phil Donahue. And then, of course, we had a string of people in between. And the last one was Harry Muhammad. Harry got sick. Y'all might know Harry. He came out of Alabama. And they actually sent me over to the Muslim Journal to tidy things up and hold it over until they could figure out what they were going to do. And after a few weeks, Imam Muhammad said, well, it looked like she's doing a good job, so y'all should keep her. And it kind of fell silent. That wasn't exactly in everybody's plan either. But when the Imam says something, you go ahead with it. And early on, when I came to Chicago as a 20-something-year-old, and Imam Muhammad was making changes and so on, and there were some sisters who had worked for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and they were with the Imam Muhammad in the tradition. And one sister called me because she heard the Imam had sent word for me to do something at that time, and she was just letting me know, if your leader tells you to do something, you don't think about it, you just do it. And so about 15 years later, that resonated in my head. If the Imam said go forward, then I'll just go forward and see how it goes. And 20-some years later, I'm still here. And sometimes some of the former editors will give me a health check to see if I'm still sane. You still there? Your health okay? Because they know it is a hot seat. Okay, I'm going to try to click this from here. Of course, this is the paper that came out Friday. Our coverage on Muhammad Ali. The full paper is on Muhammad Ali, and we try to carry the sentiments from our community. Everybody has something to say. I got articles from Jesse Jackson. I got articles from civil rights leaders from the Urban League. But this issue, we remembered Ali from our perspective, and people gave tribute. Also, I got so much responses. People were sending me pictures of Ali with their kids, Ali at their house having dinner, and they're still coming. So we just put out word. Sister Sultana just put it on Facebook. If you have a tribute to Ali and that special picture that you took when he came to your community and he spent time with you and sat with the kids, we're going to do issue 2, part 2 on remembering Muhammad Ali this coming week. And if you can get that information into me by Tuesday night at Muslim Journal, it's MUSLIMJRNL at Comcast.net, and we can give you all that information at the booth outside. We're going to do part 2 and let us express ourselves. When Imam Muhammad passed, we did at least 3 back-to-back issues just in our community speaking about the impact that Imam Muhammad had on their lives. I might have to step out a little bit. Abdullah's gone. Oh, okay. Is it idle? I'll use this time also to say that we are promoting a subscription drive, and we're promoting it as make a Muslim Journal subscription your Eid gift to someone. Of course, it would help us with our bottom line, but we also help our Muslim perspective in the community to, again, let people know, and that was before all this last night, but we can't assume that the work is all done and that we can rest now, that someone else is going to tell our story for us. We have to constantly keep the Muslim Journal, and if not the Muslim Journal, then a Muslim newspaper, and it should be one from your association and from your perspective, because other Muslims are not going to tell your story. I thank Allah for Safir Rob out of Baltimore for making sure our community had a presence in Muhammad Ali's funeral. There were African American Muslims there, but they were not from our association. They didn't mention us. They didn't mention Imam Muhammad. Safir Rob made sure that the sister, the last one to speak after the janazah, Khadija Sharif Drinker, was from our community. And she was the one that made the connection of Muhammad Ali coming to the Claire Muhammad schools and the transition he made to Imam W.D. Muhammad's community. It was Safir Rob that muscled his way, elbowed his way up to the front of the casket of Muhammad Ali, and he was to the front left, leading Muhammad Ali's casket into that janazah. And I thank Allah for him and that tenacity and doing that on our behalf, because and they said, well, where were y'all's community? At least you can say that was Safir Rob right there at the front, leading the as a pallbearer. So it was important for us to be seen and to be present, not only for our own history, but for Muhammad Ali. We want to make it clear his history. As we are used to in the Muslim Journal, when things don't happen, we always have a plan B. Technology is fragile, so I got some hard copy Muslim journals in my little rickety bag. And when you hear all that rattling and stuff, I'm going to start on my plan B while we figure this out. So, what have we been talking about in the Muslim Journal? You got it? Oh, I got it. Okay. See? Wait, come back. I want Okay, down. Okay. Well, I used to tell people that I have to wait for my grandson to come home from kindergarten to change the remote control on the TV. Because they had this big TV that was a sound half a wall, and he was 5 years old. He'd come and push it out from the wall and hit something in the back. He said, "Here, Nana." Okay. We retraced our history in the passing of our leader, Imam W.D. Muhammad. And again, it took us several issues of Muslim Journal to get that message across. And it always resonated that Imam Muhammad told us to lead is to serve. And that's what we're here for. It's not for aggrandizement or self-adulation. When it comes to the Muslim Journal staff, people have already gone to other means for their livelihood, to make their ends meet, to pay their bills. We've already had to rely on other things for that. So I hope no one has the confusion or the thought that we're in for the money. I told my son I was going to work one day. Well, he asked me, where you going today? I said, I'm going to work. Where? Muslim Journal. He said, well, you need to go sit back down. He said, because every time you leave the house, you make a bill. But, you know, he said, son, you just don't understand. And that's you have to leave him at that because, you know, at his age, you don't want to get into the argument because then I have to leave him out on the expressway somewhere. Because you can't win with them, you know. They will argue you you know, there's no logic to the argument. It's just an argument until you just have to say peace. You know. In Jackson, Mississippi, the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi proclaimed Islamic Heritage Month April every year, not just this one year, every year. And of course, we know Memphis has Muslim Heritage Month every year in March, and they've had it, I don't know, it's in the teens now, the years that they've celebrated that. This proclamation came the week after the San Bernardino massacre. And Sister Okola Rashid standing by him, and the brother to her left, Al Turk, they are the co-founders of the International Muslim Museum, Muslim Cultures in Jackson. And they spoke at City. Sister Sakina, Imam Rashida in this picture. There they are, there she is, and there he is. Okay. Okola thought for sure that the mayor was going to renege after that massacre in San Bernardino. And he went forward. This had to go through city council. They made the talk in the city council meeting. And it was funny because there were other Muslims in the city council audience down below. It was held at Tougaloo College. And the councilman that was seated began to pick out Muslims. They said, I know so-and-so, and so I grew up with him. We played baseball together, and I know this person over there, and I know that person over there. So they began to relate on a personal level of these people that others were already categorizing and labeling as terrorists. They said, we know these people. Nobody else could tell them who these people were. Even the Nation of Islam brothers said that. The brother said, I played baseball with him when we were kids. So they know us. We didn't get that big a coverage in the other newspapers. This brother, Dr. Yassin, when he travels, he makes sure the Muslim Journal is included in his duties and his tasks, is to bring back the stories of Muslims throughout the countries that he's traveling to. And again, in Los Angeles, with Islamic Hope, Naji and Imam A.K. Hassan, they made equal impact on the city of Los Angeles, and the people there know them. We often put in the paper just a picture of Malcolm with newspapers around him. And as we know, Malcolm was the impetus for starting Muhammad Speaks. Now, it depends on who you're talking to within our own association on who did what. Some brothers, pioneer brothers in Chicago, will argue me down. Malcolm didn't start no paper. Malcolm didn't start no paper. Jabba started the paper. The paper was started in New York. Malcolm was in New York. So we compromise. We say, okay, Malcolm started the paper in New York, and Jabba took it. This was before the passing of Muhammad Ali. Dr. Masrur has passed. Of course, we try to remember Malcolm as much as we can. And Imam W.D. Muhammad will have a permanent place in our publication as the constant reaffirmation, not a reminder, but a reaffirmation of what he did for this community and for us as a community, as believers. We have Muslims who are in office. Ronald Waters didn't change his name, but he's a Muslim. And he made his oath of office on the Quran. Muslims who are athletes, you know, Muhammad Ali and going forward.